open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the sky.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you all are having a lovely day today. So today we are building another mansion in Brindleton Bay, but we are building not a normal mansion, but a mansion that actually was requested by one of you guys. So this is a really large, gorgeous mansion located in Hidden Hills in America. I did provide you guys with pictures in the beginning of the video so that you can really see what I'm trying to aim for. So I do have to say the overall build isn't gonna be 100% copy, just so that you are aware of that. Usually when I do these type of builds, I try to really take key elements of the real life build so that it definitely looks similar, but it isn't an exact copy because some things I cannot recreate in The Sims because of the build mode, how it is, and some things I don't want to recreate because it just looks ugly. It really does look ugly in the game. So what I didn't do and what is like a really iconic thing of this build but I couldn't recreate is the driveway up to the little courtyard. So on the left side there's gonna be a driveway, and that driveway is gonna lead into a inner courtyard, and that driveway goes a little bit more downwards, so like a level down on the real life. It goes underneath a little bridge and it goes back up into the courtyard, or like I think it stays low. So I couldn't really recreate that in The Sims because I just didn't know how to make that work without looking ugly. Of course, I'm definitely gonna try it again off camera. I did cut out that entire part here in the video because it just looked weird, but I'm definitely gonna try it again off camera. Maybe I'm gonna succeed better when I'm not recording it. Maybe I'm getting stage fright or something, but no, I'm gonna definitely try it again. But at the point right now when I did it, it looked really ugly, but I'm gonna try it again and see how it looks. So I will definitely keep you guys updated about that in part 2. So if you haven't guessed it, by the way, yes, this is a multiple part series. This is part 1. Usually when I do these large request builds, mansions and such, I make it a multiple part series. So for this series we're probably gonna go for either 4 speed builds, and then the 5th one is probably gonna be the house tour. So yes, there will be a house tour, there will be multiple episodes. In this episode we really try to capture the essence of the house, or the overall shape, the feeling, a little bit of the landscaping. I really try to, in this part, just do the groundwork. The hard part is what we are doing here, and then in the second part we're gonna finish off everything. I definitely need to work a little bit more on the shape of the house. At some point it's not looking that great, so we are definitely doing that in part 2. A little bit more landscaping. I need to work on the back, and I also need to do the roofing because the roofing at this point looks a little bit all over the place. It definitely does not flow really nicely together. So that is what we are doing in part 2 as well. So part 2 is just exterior overall, trying to perfect everything, and then part 3 we're gonna jump into furnishing. So the floor plan I'm gonna do off camera. Usually with these builds I always do them off camera because it's just not very interesting to watch. But the furnishing itself we're gonna do on camera, and we're probably gonna work per section. Either I'm gonna do the entire first floor and then the entire second floor, or we're gonna do like the entire left wing first and then the entire right wing. I'm still not sure how we're gonna do it, but that's kind of the plan. So if you are wondering when I'm gonna upload part 2, I am setting this series as once a week, every Sunday. That is the planning right now. Do be aware that planning can change any minute. So, but for now, I have it set for every Sunday. Either, I don't know, I don't have a time, to be honest, because now it's Sunday at this point. I'm doing my voiceover. It's 7 p.m. and I actually wanted this uploaded at 8 p.m. So I'm definitely not gonna make it because I'm doing my voiceover. I need to render, then I need to upload. This is gonna take me another 3 hours. So this will be up probably around 10 p.m. European time. But usually I try to get my videos up around 8 o'clock on a Sunday. So yeah, so sorry that I'm late. But yeah, that's the planning for this series. Every Sunday a new episode, unless I have a little bit more time during the week, and then you guys get a bonus episode during the week. But for this point, I have a lot of series running that I actually record during the week. So the Modern Mansion Real Time I do during the week. The Brindleton Bay Mansion Real Time I also record during the week. And do I have other series running? I'm not sure. Oh, I have my Oasis Springs Let's Build series also running, which is almost done. I only need to furnish 2 or 3 more lots and the park. So I have been working on one of the lots. I am building a apartment for the Oasis Springs series. If you haven't seen that series, by the way, you should definitely check it out. I will link the playlist here up in the screen. I have been working on that series for over a year and I love it so much. I actually don't want it to end. But yeah, that is also a video that is coming up hopefully upcoming week or the week after. I'm kind of booked this week because I need to really need to clean up my garage. My garage at this point is such a mess. There's like empty glass bottles everywhere. There's toys. All my decorations for Christmas is all in my garage. I need to move that all up into the attic. I mean the decorations and the toys, not the empty bottles. The empty bottles need to go to like some sorting place for glass and such, which is a little drive away from our home. That's why we are collecting them and then we're gonna go in one go. But at this point it's just too much stuff in my garage. So that is actually a project that I'm gonna work with on this week. So I don't really know how the upload schedule is gonna be, but I think we're fine. So anyways, yes, what are we doing at this point? I'm trying to perfect the side of the building right here. So I did have multiple pictures of this build. Thank God I have multiple angles. Really handy. So the only thing that I'm kind of missing from this build is the overall floor plan. So I do know that I definitely cannot fit in the actual floor plan into this house because I needed to downscale this house quite a bit because it's so large. So definitely the floor plan will not fit completely, but I would really like to know how it's kind of looking on the inside. So I have a few rooms that I have pictures of, but definitely not all the rooms. I don't really know the flow of the building, so that is something that I'm gonna try to look into this week as well as a preparation for the video in the upcoming Sunday. So hopefully, or upcoming Sunday, no, the Sunday after that, because next Sunday is still exterior. But yeah, I'm hoping that I'm gonna find a little bit more interior pictures. But if you guys have more pictures for me, I will place a link in the description of the video of this house, because I have a few sites of this house so that you can see which house I'm working with. I will leave a link in the description, and if you have more information, more pictures, more sources for me, let me know. You can contact me on my Twitter or Instagram or here in the comment section below. So I have been sneak peeking this build, by the way, on Instagram quite a few times. I have been working on this build for I think a week or 3 right now. This is like a 5-hour build at this point. So from beginning to end of this video, this was a 5-hour build. And I did manage to fit it all in 35 minutes. I'm so proud of myself. But yeah, this was a very, very long process, and I did give you guys sneak peeks throughout the entire process. So if you are interested in little sneak peeks about this build, you can always follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I also have a Snapchat, but I haven't really been using Snapchat a lot lately because I hate the update so much. I mean, I'm an old girl. I mean, old, not that old, but I'm like a young mom. I'm in my 30s, and sometimes I find apps and such a little confusing. When I was younger, I knew how everything worked from the get-go, but now it takes a little bit of figuring out for me. I'm getting a tiny bit slower. I do blame my children for me getting a bit slower. I think with every birth, I gave a little bit of my brain away or something, because when I got in Selena, I was a little bit more forgetful and a bit slower in my overall, electronics and such, but still okay, because I still could pull apart a computer. I still could work with every software that you could give me, so it was fine. But after I got in Sadie, oh my gosh, I just started doing the most insane things. I started placing my keys into the fridge. I forgot to wear a bra to my work. Such a shame. Oh my gosh, I still can remember that day. I just forgot to put a bra on, and you're like, well, that is not a big deal. It is when you have had 2 children, because it's not all great there, it's not all perky anymore. So yeah, those are the little things that I'm forgetting since I've gotten Sadie. And I also really am a bit slower, so I had a lot of trouble figuring out Twitter, but I have figured it out, by the way. I am using my Twitter way more recently, so if you aren't following me there, that is the app that I use the most. I do my sneak peeks, I tweet a lot. I mean, a lot, like every other day, so that is definitely more interesting than my Snap, which is dead at this point. Anyways, what am I doing right here? Oh my gosh, that was a little burp. So sorry, I hope that you guys didn't hear it. But anyways, I'm working at the back of the building. So like I said, the back is definitely not done. It needs a bit more tweaking, especially the side right here. The left. No, the right side. If you look at it from this way, that is the right side. That is definitely not done. It looks way off. So that is what we are doing in the next episode. And what am I doing here? I'm just playing around with the little tower. I mean, why not? And also doing a little bit more roofing. And you really can see from this point that the roofs don't blend. They don't blend at all. They look weird, and I really need to work on that. And this inner courtyard right here also doesn't look as it needs to look, although I only have one picture of the inner courtyard, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it the same, or I'm just gonna go with my own thing. Probably gonna go with my own thing for the inner courtyard and make it look interesting and nice. I don't know, maybe add in a few gameplay objects in the courtyard, because we don't have any cars or such that I can place. So maybe I'm gonna add in something fun. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it, you guys. Anyways, still working on the sides. We spend a lot of time on shaping the home, a lot of time on the landscaping, and I think the final 7-8 minutes of the video we spent on the backyard and the swimming pool. I definitely wanted to include that in part 1 of this series, so that you could have this, this feel on how the backyard was shaping together, and you know, the path that we are taking, so that you guys were interested in part 2 and you were like, I really would like to know how she's gonna finish that. So definitely wanted to include the pool section as well. Because in the beginning I was like, I'm only gonna do the front and then make the second video about the back. That would have been maybe a bit better because the video would have been a bit shorter, but for the overall experience of this video, I think it's more enjoyable that you see what I do with the back as well. So yeah, that's my explanation on why this video is a little bit longer. Although 35 minutes is not that bad, you guys. Originally it was 50, so it's okay. So yeah, what am I doing right here? I'm just gonna start the landscaping. So the landscaping of the front of the building, I found it really fun. This is my favorite part of the entire build. I loved doing the landscaping. The landscaping is so very interesting and fun of the front of the building. Definitely a sort of landscaping that I haven't done yet. So I'm working with triangles and little hedges, and it's just so much fun. The only thing that I actually really missed in this build, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish that we had a smaller hedge. So this tiny hedge, or this hedge that I'm using right here, I wished we had another hedge like that one, but half the size, so that I could make tiny little detailing with a tinier hedge. For this part that I'm making, the size was fine, but for the landscaping that I need to do at the both sides of the entrance, I needed a smaller little hedge, and we don't have that. We have normal fencing, smaller. We definitely have normal fencing. I use them a lot for like my landscaping and such, but I needed an actual hedge, and we don't have that, and that's why I'm going with bushes. I'm using those round bushes, and I'm scaling them down, and with those bushes I make patterns, landscaping patterns. So awesome. That was something that I really enjoyed doing, but looking back at the footage, that's so boring to look at. I understand. So I did cut out a large piece of me, you know, shaping and landscaping with those little bushes, because it's just no fun to look. It was fun to do, just not fun to look at. So yeah, that you are aware of that. And I just really like how this looks. The new trees that we've gotten with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack looks gorgeous here in the front of the building. So it's definitely not the same kind of tree that is used in real life. I think we do have something similar as the picture, but I think these trees from the Cats and Dogs looked way better than the other trees did. So that's why I'm using those at the front. So you're starting with the side landscaping, and at first I decided to use these guys. I tried to, you know, shape a little bit with that, but that didn't really work. So yeah, here I'm starting with a shape, but it was too square, too straight. It just didn't flow right. I needed to make a tiny curve, and then these, you know, these little bushes really worked quite well. And in the end, I think it ties in really nice. But I do... what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing here, you guys. I don't know how this is gonna stay, to be honest. I forgot. I mean, I started with the landscaping, I think 2 weeks ago, so it's a long time for me. Oh yeah, I'm using the little bushes instead of the square hedges. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So if you are hearing a weird noise at this point, there is a airplane coming by my home at this point, and they are flying really low lately. There is a military base really close to my home, and airplanes do fly over there because they do like base jumps there. I think it's called like base jumps, right? They jump out of the airplane with parachutes and such. The military does that really close to where I live. So sometimes they fly really, really low, and it's so annoying because you can hear them very loudly. We only have a very minimal of how do you call it, insulation in this home. So if you don't know it, I've said it a few times, I'm living in a converted barn. So the insulation in this barn type of thing that I'm living in is not that great. So you hear everything. I hear my mother-in-law, who lives right next door. If they are talking a little bit loud, I can hear them in my living room. But the same thing is for us. If we talk a bit too loud, she can hear us as well, which is a pain, because if I'm saying something not so nice about my mother-in-law, I need to really take in consideration the volume of my voice. So yeah, sometimes that blows up in my face, because yeah, sometimes mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws fight. It just happens. We live right next to each other, and sometimes we drive each other crazy, and then I don't have anything really nice to say about her, and then yeah, that happens. So yeah, a little bit of advice: if you buy a house, do invest in insulation. It's better for your rest because you won't hear your neighbors. It's also way better for your electricity bill because and your heating, of course, because everything is nicely isolated and you don't lose not lease, Mona. You don't lose any energy whatsoever. So yeah, isolate your home. Just saying. So yeah, that's basically it. So we're almost finished with this section right here. We only need to landscape the other side with this really nice looking triangle pattern. I love it so much. I'm definitely using this idea in a upcoming mansion build as well. So probably not the same, so not with the triangles, but definitely the same kind of technique that we are using at the front. I love it. I love how that is landscaped. Usually I just landscape it with a fence, add in some flowers on the side, you know, make a little border, and that's it. But this looks way more royal. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for. More royal, more classy, more expensive. So yeah, I really do like it. So yeah, that we're almost finished with this section of the video. I think for the front we still need to landscape this part right here. Then we need to finish off the entire terrain paint, and I think then we're gonna head on over into the backyard. So yeah, still a solid 5 minutes here at the front. Sorry about that. So yeah, anyways, how are you guys doing, by the way? It's a Sunday here in Belgium. I have been working. I needed to work from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. So not a really long day, but a very, very early day. I don't really like working on the weekends. The weekdays are fine, but the weekends I don't really like. And I have been working on Saturday as well, from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I find working in the weekend, if I work in the weekend, then I find that I don't have that much inspiration for my Sims builds anymore, because I'm so tired of the entire week working. Then when I work in the weekend as well, I don't find any inspiration. Voiceovers are very, very hard, because this voiceover right here, this is my 5th attempt, by the way. And if this one fails, I'm sorry, but this is the voiceover that you guys are gonna get. Even if it's shitty, I'm sorry. If I'm saying weird things, I'm keeping it in, because I'm not reshooting this voiceover again. No, I'm not, because yeah. So anyways, that is what happens when I'm working in the weekend. I'm just slower and I talk nonsense. I'm so sorry. Anyways, here landscaping the little side pot right here, and then finishing off this section right here. So we are definitely using a heightened terrain. And as you guys can see, at this point I lowered the terrain, and the reason why I did this, so I lowered the foundation height, is because I needed to work with plants very closely to the building. So if you have your foundation heightened as right now and you want to add in some plants very closely to your foundation, just lower your foundation, add in your plants, and then heighten it again. It doesn't change anything in your build. Everything goes back to how you placed it, and the plants won't disappear. I mean, if you have move objects on, of course. So that was a very handy trick, by the way, that someone suggested in a previous video, I think a month or so ago. So yeah, definitely a really good tip, and I'm giving that to you guys as well. Lower your foundation if you need to work right next to your home. So yeah, here working on that little pathway here again, I'm all over the place. I'm going from left to right and back again because there are just so many angles that I wanted to work on. And then at some point I was like, okay, I want to work on the left side, but I need to make sure that the right side is okay, because if I don't have enough space, I need to shorten something. And that's why I'm going from left to right, you know, all over the place. And I'm trying to cover everything so that everything works completely as I wanted to. So yeah, that's how I'm building at this point. Adding in some ivy, of course, as well. I love ivy, especially in these type of builds. Ivy looks gorgeous. So I do know in the real life home, there's no ivy. So yeah, just so that you know, no, there is no ivy, but I just really liked how it looked. And I am gonna add in some more ivy in part 2 as well. We need a little bit more on the left side, a tiny bit at the front, and then the back I'm also gonna cover a large chunk with ivy, just because it looks better in some points of the build, especially where there are like large flat surfaces. I like to cover those with ivy just to fill in those little spots. So yeah, that's it. So we're almost finished here, adding in the chimneys. There will be more chimneys a little bit later on, and I do try to really place the chimneys where they are in the real life home as well. And I think this house has 4 chimneys. So I definitely need to make at least 4 rooms with a fireplace, because why would you have 4 chimneys if there aren't any fireplaces? So definitely need to use 4 fireplaces, although with these type of builds that is not hard because it's a very Victorian home, and the Victorian homes tend to have a lot of fireplaces, so that's gonna be great. So what am I doing right here? I'm making a little pathway with the foundations, and the reason why I'm doing that is this section is actually raised up a tiny bit. There's a little balcony running right along that pathway, and I didn't notice that until I looked very close into that frontal picture. I was like, what is that on the left side? I'm seeing a little bit of a iron fencing going on. What is that? And then I enlarged the picture and I saw a railing, and that the floor was a little bit elevated. So that's what I'm doing right now. You don't see it now because I still need to raise the foundation like I do right now. And yeah, I made a little pathway and I think it looks really nice. It fits in perfectly. I like the little bushes surrounding it, and then the railing that I'm using, it just really looks very nice. So for the foundation height, I am going with only 1 step up, and the reason why I'm doing that is because of that little section on the side. With 2 steps or even 3 steps up, it looked too harsh. So we're just going to go with 1 step. I know it's a little bit low, because with these type of builds I like to use a little bit higher foundation, but for the back sides it actually worked out pretty nicely that I only made it 1 step up. So yeah, that is the reason why we are using that terrain height. So starting with the swimming pool right here, I really tried to capture the shape. And it actually looks so weird right now without of the landscaping and such, but when I put in the landscaping and, you know, the hot tub and such, it actually looks really nice. But at this point, it's such a weird shape. It reminds me of something dirty at this point, but I promise it's gonna look way better in the end. So adding in a hot tub, because why not? And of course the real life house also had a hot tub, but that hot tub was actually circular. I wished we had a circular hot tub. I think if we could have chosen between a circular one and a square one like we have right now, that would have been really awesome. But now we have two square options that you can choose. So I think one is more cheaper and the other one is more of a expensive stone one. I'm using the more expensive one, of course, because I like the texture better. So yeah, here starting with the landscaping, we're definitely adding in lots and lots of flowers to make this look really nice and luxurious. I love adding in flowers into the swimming pool section. So that is what we are doing right now. So I don't use any of the new plants, by the way. So at first I wanted to use the Jungle Adventures game pack, but the reason why I'm not using it is because I don't know, I'm just scared that some of you guys don't have the pack, and then when you want to download it, yeah, you have a problem. I mean, I don't always look to that, but for the Jungle Adventure pack, I can imagine that not everyone wants that pack, so I don't know if I'm gonna implement anything from the pack. Although, I have to say, I think there's not anything that would fit in with this build. Let me think. Well, maybe the woohoo bush. Yeah, maybe the woohoo bush would look really nice because those has like these nice yellow leaves and we only have red ones with Get Together. So maybe I'm gonna use that one. But for wallpapers and such, oh, there's this gorgeous kind of stone concrete looking wallpaper that we gotten with the Jungle Adventure pack that I might use in the basement. I'm not sure. Maybe. So yeah, maybe I am gonna implement the pack. At first I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But thinking about it a little bit better, there are actually a few really nice items in that pack that would look lovely in this build. So I'm not sure, of course, we're gonna see what I'm gonna do when we're gonna furnish it. But for now, we are not using the new pack yet. So yeah, just a heads up so that you know. So yeah, that's basically all I needed to say for this video. We are almost at the end. At this point, I'm just trying to shape the backyard a little bit better, adding in the windows. So I definitely don't add in all the windows in this part. There are still windows that needed to be added in on the lower level. So the first floor has like no windows. I only work on the second floor in this part. Also perfecting that entrance, making it a little bit smaller, adding in those arches right there. And I think with the arches that I'm using, I'm actually capturing the real life build much better. You should really check out the pictures in the beginning, especially the one from the backyard. And I think with the arches, it definitely works better. I mean, I wished we had a door that was arched on top. That would be awesome, but we don't have any doors like that with two tiles who aren't, you know, completely wood. So I needed one with glass like this one right here, but then with a arched upper thingy, you know. But yeah, we don't have it. So with the oh my gosh, what's it called again, with the arches from the base game, I think it works out really nice. So here working a little bit more on the second floor, adding in these windows. Those windows are actually from the Vampire game pack. They look really nice. And then this section right here, this is the side building that we need to tweak a little bit better. We need to tweak the back of the building a bit more. The the side where that little gazebo is gonna come, and then probably do a little bit more landscaping here as well. Although if you look at it from this side, it actually looks really nice. Probably not similar as the real life part, but still very nice for what we can have in the game. But I think I'm gonna tweak that again a bit more in part 2. So yeah, that is basically it. We're almost at the end of the video, you guys. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this little very long voiceover of mine of this first part of the series. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of the build, and of course if you liked it, don't forget to leave your likes. Very important that you leave those, because if you leave your likes, then the video gets recommended more, and then people will find the videos, will find the channel, and I really would like to grow my channel. So yeah, thank you very much for liking, and of course if this is the first video that you are seeing from me and you like my babbling, you like my annoying babbling, then yeah, don't forget to subscribe for another video. Hit the notification bell so that you would never ever miss a video of mine. So I'm hoping that you all are having a lovely day wherever you are, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye!